Alright, alright, alright. This here is the Ramblin' Hillbilly. How the hell are y'all today? Me? God, it sucks to get old. I was hauling Mama Billy's oxygen around. They're hard to carry with my little hands and, by the top. Because I have to carry two. It keeps me balanced. And it's one less trip I have to make. Well, she has a carton of 4. And I'm talking the big, not big in the hospital tanks, but big tanks. Not the little carry around tanks. Anyway, she wants them over where she works. So, first of all, I drug them out, picked them up down the stairs. Kind of drug it across the room. I mean, I could have picked it up and carried it, but it was easier to just drag it. And I opened the tailgate of my truck and went, fuck, that's higher than I thought. So, guess what? I hefted it with all my might. Well, what's left of it. And I got it up there, put it in the back of the truck. I got a nice little bruise because the cardboard scraped against my skin, and I take that blood thinner from when I almost died a couple years ago, and they couldn't figure out why. I still don't know why. And so I take a low-dose blood thinner just to be on the safe side. Anyway, so I know I was a little sore yesterday, but today the back is sore. I'm beat up. I'm old. Fuck me. Anyway. I splurged. I got cinnamon dolce. I put cinnamon in my coffee every morning anyway. I even put cinnamon in my cinnamon. Because it's funny, because sometimes I'll watch these videos back, and I'll see a little crap. I'm like, what the fuck? Did I eat chocolate in my sleep last night? Well, it's, as soon as I mix it in with the ground, but, it doesn't like water. It likes to float, so you get some in your coffee cup. Okay, so I think I got it in the corners of my mouth. So hopefully I don't have cinnamon lips this morning. I've been called cinnamon lips once or twice. Oh, shit. Anyway, speaking of Mama Billy, new shirt. Well, I know it's backwards, but you get it. Anyway, no matter how many times you clean out a closet or boxes or office things, you find something that she's gotten you for Christmas and she stashed and forgot about. She has been doing that forever. I'd come home to visit in July and she'd toss me something. Merry Christmas. Forgot I had this. Well, this is how long ago, maybe. It also came with remembering the Carpenters. Okay? Which makes me want to cry because, it was 40 years ago this month that we lost Karen. And, Probably rambled this before. It was also 40 years ago this month that I was in basic training. God, it seems like yesterday. Anyway, back in the day, there weren't any cell phones, or they were just pay phones. We had no we had no TV. Well, there was a TV in there, but it wasn't allowed to be on unless they said it could be on for some reason. Anyway, no newspapers, no radio, no smartwatches, no nothing, right? So I get out of basic training mid-March or so, and I'm in Texas for tech school. And I go to the BX, and I've got money that I've never had in my possession before because I'm living and eating for free. So when I went to the BX, I didn't go overboard, but I didn't get the cheapest boombox either. I was like, oh my God, this is wonderful. And I was buying cassette tapes that I had only had vinyl of. Jesus Christ, I'm old. Anyway, I asked the clerk, I said, hey, do you have Carpenter's Greatest Hits? She goes, oh, honey, ever since Karen died, we can't keep it in stock. And I went, what? Because, we were allowed to call home like once a week. But, I seriously doubt if any of our parents said, oh, by the way, oh, did you hear the news? Well, fuck no, we didn't hear the news. We have no news. Anyway, there's my Carpenter story. Rest in peace, beautiful voice. I was thinking about my top 5 voices of all time. I don't know why I'm rambling to this, but why do you love me? Because I'm the rambling Willie. Anyway, top 5 voices real quick before I get into the bullshit. Okay. Karen Carpenter. Amayo Ranga. Lisa Kelly. Anne Murray. And what's her name? Fuck. I'll think of it in a minute. It's old. But anyway, 5 very unique voices. Anyway. So, I don't know what part to start with. I guess I could start where part 2 from the other day got cut off. I did a part 2. I was putting it on YouTube. I was waiting for it to load. It said, oops, something happened. Please try again. It's always bad when they say, oops, something happened. Yeah, something happened, okay? Everything disappeared. It's not even on my phone. So, and a friend of mine who should remain nameless said, I was watching you the other day and my whole computer crashed. Or her Wi-Fi went apeshit. Yes, I have followers in multiple countries. Love you, Mags. I give you a shout out. Scotland. Anyway, all of our memories are coming up from our cruise that we had with Mags, Ian and Mags and Ian from Scotland. And if you're wondering what's under that kilt, it's the truth. Anyway. So I don't know what the fuck, okay? I was talking about Joe Biden. Was I talking about Joe Biden? I don't know. And his bullshit trip to Kiev. Or did I finish that? Okay? A war zone, my ass. Every fucking NATO leader wouldn't have gone their happy ass into Kiev if it were actively being bombed. Okay? No celebrity is going to risk their ass unless they're doing it for entertaining the troops' purposes to go into a war zone for a photo op. All right? Let me tell you about this. I got the Billy board, but I can't read it because I can't see my eyes when I'm recording with my glasses on, but then again, I can't see shit. Okay. Oh, yeah. Mr. Zelensky with two eyes. And his wife's Vogue photo shoot. uh, Bullshit. There's a documentary by Oliver Stone called, I think, like Ukraine is Burning or Ukraine on Fire or something. Look it up. I don't think it's on YouTube anymore. They kicked it off right away. And all it is a history of the Ukraine. Well, they don't want you to know the history of Ukraine. Okay? Why wasn't Ukraine invited into NATO a long time ago? Because it's the most corrupt country in the world. Remember the biolab things? Oh, there's not biolabs in there, and the Russians are going, there's biolabs in there, you know? We know there are. And then we came out and said, oh, yeah, by the way, there are. We've got Soviet-era biolabs in there just because, under guard. Oh, horse shit. Check out the laptop from hell, okay? It's just not like a regurgitation of the pages. You got history and you got things explained and this and why. Well, there's emails from people funding those biolabs to Hunter Biden. Okay? Now, I shouldn't have said his name because that'll probably get me kicked off. Although it's in the book, so why kick me off? It's not misinformation. Anyway, just, it's a corrupt country. It always has been. And the first family's done a lot of business with the oligarchs that run that corruption. Um, anyway, so what a bunch of horse shit. What a staged production. Joey B and Zelensky walking through Kiev, and a fucking air raid siren goes off, and nobody fucking jumped. I don't know about you, but if I was in a air raid zone and that fucking thing went off, I would be looking for shelter. Do you notice nobody flinched? It was so disgusting. Even the CNN reporter said, "Look, dudes, I've been here for 5 days and I haven't heard air raid siren one, explosion one, nada." And if it were a true air raid sign, or there was any chance of it, if he wanted to walk with Zelensky, you can best he wouldn't be more than a few feet away from the beast. Okay? And as soon as that siren ran off, they'd shove his ass in there and off they'd go. So it's all staged, it's all theater. Do you get me? You picking up what I'm putting down here? And Zelensky was worth a few million when he was placed into office. Now somehow this fucker is worth $750 million. Now, how did that happen? And one more sickening fucking thing. Well, this torched my ass. Joey's up there going, "We're with the Ukraine people." Okay, have nothing against the Ukrainian people. Okay, it's not their fault the country's fucked up, and it's not our fault that our country's fucked up. You're getting how this works? Anyway, Joey's like, "We're with the Ukraine for as long as it takes. I have asked for another 500 million in la la la." And he says, "And we're going to get them something to fund their pensions. You know, give the Ukrainian people a little something so they have a little money in their pocket." This is the President of the United States. Who the fuck are we? Chopped liver? Our country's going to fucking hell in a handbasket in a big fucking hurry. Hello? Remember years and years ago when I was telling you about that 16-year plan? Well, you can see it all unfolding because Trump put a 4-year hitch in their get along, so they got a timetable they got to go. You see, so you see the corruption, you see the malfeasance, you see the money laundering, you see the bullshit. Nobody knows where those billions of shit goes when it goes to the Ukraine. There's nobody monitoring it. They even admitted that. Okay, I think it's up to $113 billion we've sent their way in aid and cash. Oh, this one didn't go out. They usually go out and sit there. It's a frustration release thing when I snap my smoke and light it. See what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm kind of weird that way. But anyway, and rumor has it, not confirmed, but pretty much, if you watch him closely, a lot of the time, especially speech he did the other day, Zelensky has a little bit of a coke problem, okay? And I'm not talking zero sugar Coke or cherry Coke or whatever. Diet Coke. I'm talking like pure Peruvian flake Coke. Because if you watch him really close during that speech, I mean, watch him all the time. He's always doing this. I mean, always. Unless he's got horrible allergies. There goes my stomach again. It likes to show off when I'm doing this. Now, the other day I was doing that. But my nose did actually itch. Because let me tell you, if the Billy was on cocaine, these would be a lot more entertaining. Anyway. Oh, damn it. I forgot that one was still going. See, they don't go to waste. Anyway, so think about it. We've got one of the worst environmental disasters going on in Ohio. And, well, they had put out like this 200-mile radius around East Palestine, just to be on the lookout. Fuck. Where I am is as the crow flies, which is important, not just how you get there. As the crow flies, we're at 175. Now, we rarely get easterly winds or shit like that. And the last several days, we've had some pretty heavy westerly, southwesterly kind of winds. I mean, the other day, it's kind of funny. I took, well, I won't say what. Well, I took some pizza that weren't cut in squares. They were cut in triangles, and I took it up to the store to put it in the pizza oven to warm it up. And, I didn't want one piece on top of the other because there was a lot of cheese on that. Shout out to B Pizza. It was delicious. I had the Florentine. Sorry about the ramble. Got to give a shout out where a shout out is due. And, oh shit, I can't remember all what's on it, but they make their own crust in-house, hand tossed. It was chicken, provolone, mozzarella, mushroom, onion, maybe, with an Alfredo base. It was awesome. Anyway, shout out to B Pizza. Give them a try. Anyway. The wind. So I had him wrapped up in foil, and I was carrying it out, and I had it on top of something I was carrying. So I really wasn't holding it, but it was heavy enough. I didn't realize that the winds had picked up directly from the west, and when I walked out in front of the store, it blew my pizza like, good lord, like 5 feet, like a frisbee. And it didn't come unwrapped or get unturned or anything. It was still warm and delicious. So that was my wind story the other day. So the winds are blowing from the west pretty heavy for a long time. Now, the people east of here or northeast of here or whatever, and the water, the EPA says, oh, everything's good. What a crock of horse shit. All right. Where are the environmentalists? Who's the fucking genius that decided some things I can see burning off rather than risking explosion? But maybe there's some other way for this shit, because it was polyvinyl chloride. Okay? And instead of risking moving it or offloading it due to explosion, they chose to burn it off. Now, how many years did that set back their green fucking agenda? Who who thought this was a good idea? Because when you burn that off, now I can't, fuck, I should have put it on the billboard. What burns off from that attaches to water vapor and creates like an acid. Okay? Now, I'm trying to think. Watch out. A little Billy biology. Okay. Your body is what? 60% water. Do you think that's bad? Think about this. Your bloodstream is 90% water. And there's something that's in the air, in the ground, in the water that loves water vapor. Know what I'm saying? Making sense. Did anybody look into what happens when that burns like that? Come on, folks. Little, I know a guy. Who, I don't know when, was working for the railroads. Okay. Come on, look, there haven't been any new rail routes, no new shit for what, decades? Look at Japan and their sleek, modern trains. Why don't we have that here? Huh? Think about that. Anyway, the first thing to go when the cost cutting came, and I love how they're trying to blame 45. Security. Security was cut, which from several years ago. Remember the trains parked in LA with no security and all the open boxes and shit that have been stolen out of them because there's nobody walking the tracks. There's no security. Well, then what do you think is gonna come next? Cuts everywhere. That car was seen sparking heavily for 20 miles before it derailed. Why wasn't that reported to somebody? And what the fuck was the conductor doing? Because, yeah, should have been, it was at night. You should have been able to see that shit. Okay? You're sparking like that. It was not a few sparks. Ow. God. My knee is stiff today. Because I did something. Yeah, well. Who recently had a knee replacement. And I said, I know you're frustrated. It's just been a few months, but watch this. And I did a few dance steps to say, hey, this is the only thing that works on me. Now I'm a little sore. Fuck, I'm stupid. Anyway, so like, I want to know what the fuck. Okay, all those streams flow into the Ohio River. The Ohio River flows into the Mississippi, and it flows into other things that flow into other things. Do you see how catastrophic this is? And they're like, ah, it's all good. Look, let's drink the water. Come on. I'm sorry, that was a disaster, regardless whether it was natural or whatever. The minute that happened, FEMA and Red Cross and all that fucking bullshit should have been there. Well, you hadn't filed the paperwork yet. Well, can't you do that shit on your own as a federal government, you dumb motherfuckers, without the paperwork? That's why the government doesn't work. Jesus Christ. You pay like 5 people to touch the same piece of fucking paper. And I know in the computer age, it goes to one place and they have to do something with it, and then it gets sent to another place because they got to have a copy of it. It's all a waste. And you want to know why, and you think it's going to get better. With the diversity, equity, and inclusion standards that must be applied. They've been doing that for years, actually. You got extra points, you know, if you checked off certain boxes on your testing to get a state job. Another little ramble. That's kind of how I knew I had the job. Because veterans actually got preference points, which is fine with me if they are qualified for the position. Got me? So, we had a written test, which I scored like, I don't know, 96, 98% on. And then, they cut it down to the top, however many, for an oral interview. And it's like a panel. Okay? Well, in my military career, I was in front of airmen of the quarter boards and stuff like that all the time. So I got real familiar with how to conduct yourself in front of a board. And it also just so happened that the lab supervisor, or the assistant supervisor, but he really kind of ran things. He was a retired Navy chief. And we were contracted out with Travis Air Force Base for a pathologist to be in charge of our laboratory because we didn't actually have a pathologist on site. Well, he was an active colonel at Travis, which means he was in charge of the laboratory and all that stuff there. Because that's who's in charge of laboratory services as a pathologist. Anyway, I was so, and there were those two and maybe three other people sitting at a long table, and I was sitting by myself, and John, that was him, John Hale, may he rest in peace. He was the coolest fucking dude ever. His son was in Berlin when the wall came down. He was in the Navy too, I guess. And he had a chunk of the Berlin Wall on his desk. Okay. So anyway, he asked me, he says, I see here you didn't use your veterans preference points. And I said, yes, sir. I said, I couldn't find my DD 214. And I'd seen that ad pretty late one Sunday morning reading the paper. And I was like, shit. I said, no, sir, I couldn't find my paperwork in time. So I said, did I need it? I said, do I need it? If so, I'll go find that shit. And he laughed and he said, no, that's not necessary. Ah! Oh, man. And then my number 2 friend, Billy, who came to work with me. Many, many years later, after John retired, we were cleaning out some old files in his desk. And I found the notes and the scores from that interview. And my friend who started there with me, you know who you are if you're watching. I don't know if I ever showed those to you or not. Okay? If not, I'll make a copy and I'll mail it to you, okay? It's kind of cool to see. Reminiscing. Little River Band. Okay, that's how old I am. The Little River Band reference came out. Anyway, what was I rambling about? Oh, yeah. Damn, that's good coffee. I could use a warm up. Anyway. Fuck, where was I? Just a slap in the face with Joey B sending off our money to Ukraine to help those poor people when we have a huge need here ourselves. Well, that's who we are. No, maybe a long time ago when we could aid people or what have you, but we can't do it anymore. All those trillions of dollars that have gone to waste. And you can bet your ass not one hardly dime of it ever went to the people. You see what I'm saying? It's all a scam. I'm telling you, please watch JFK to 9/11. Everything's a rich man's trick. Now, I check every now and then because somebody gets it back on YouTube. It used to be on YouTube for about 10 years, and then they kicked it off. I wonder why. Watch it. They use the same playbook over the decades, over the centuries. This this attack on our culture, this attack on our country, this is nothing new. This is how they operate. Okay? Countries knew they couldn't take us from the outside into conventional war. We'd kick everybody's ass. They knew they couldn't invade the homeland because everybody's got a gun, right? But it could be taken down from within, and our forefathers warned of that many times. You know, those racist white motherfuckers that didn't know what they were doing. They were actually very brilliant. So, anyway, pray for the people in this part of the country because it's going to be a fucking mess. And pray for the little critters and big critters that are going to die and suffer. Birds, squirrels, everyone that relies on the creeks and the rivers for water. This is a big deal, people. How many train derailments have we had in the last couple of weeks since then? Several. The fuck? Is it just poor maintenance? Sabotage, possibly? Because what could Pete Buttigieg do? He could issue a halt on all train traffic until all the rails are inspected. All the cars are inspected. Now, what would that do to a supply chain? Huh. We're already fucked, people. I don't know, do y'all just not pay attention to shelves in stores? Have you tried to buy pet food lately? That's the next thing they're going after, probably. Nobody's going to be able to afford their pets. They're going to be dumped along the side of the road. I see a lot of that happening. It pisses me off. How many of you would come to a spay and neuter fundraiser hosted by the Billy with food delivered? I mean, you'd have to pay for the food, but because I ain't got that kind of money. But you know what I mean. A BYOB, Friends of the Billy get together. You tell me if you'd be interested in such a thing. All right. Anyway, sorry. But anyway. But the Ukrainian people, they're going to have money in their pockets, and we'll try to make them safe. Okay. Now, let me play the devil's advocate for a minute. Now, it's been quite a long time ago that I watched that Oliver Stone documentary on Ukraine. And it's a documentary. It's not a movie. But what if you go know the history, what if Ukraine has been so crooked for so long? And Vladimir Putin is maybe trying to liberate the Ukrainian people back to their possible ancestry. Okay, devil's advocate. But beware. With all the stuff that's happening, we had a plant explosion in Ohio. The fuck have you got against Ohio? Jesus. Not a bunch of quiet, hard-working country folk, and you fuck up their towns. I'm not saying that that was the reason this plant exploded, but it seems to be in the last year and a half or so, there have been a lot of plant fires, especially food processing plants, heavy duty fires at poultry processing plants, egg farms, you name it, they have burned to the ground. Thousands all over the world. Now, you tell me that's a coincidence. No, that's controlling the food supply. I mean, come on. Two of those food processing plants were destroyed via plane crash, a plane crashing into them. Two of them! And it wasn't very far apart. What are the odds? So call me skeptical, but what? I forgot it was Ash Wednesday. I'm like, what the? Oh, yeah. Okay. Okay. Little ramble here from the little Ash Wednesday thing. Okay. We had a ball game, basketball, in high school. I don't know if it was my junior or senior year, forget which. Junior year, I think. And we were playing Sidney Lehman Catholic. Okay? At Lehman. In the dungeon. Okay. Anyway, it was Ash Wednesday. We go to all match up, and I'm looking around, and they're all like smudged on their forehead because I had never actually seen that out in public. You know what I mean? I'll tell you what, it was distracting for a good long time till he started sweating and stuff because it's like you'd go up to the ball handler and you never look him in the eye, ever. Keep your eye on the midsection because you can't fake your midsection, right? Anyway, but every time I'd go up to her, I just couldn't help but like stare at her forehead. She burned me once or twice before I got over that. Anyway, little religious humor. The kind of humor we had back and forth back then. I think we beat them in the dungeon because it was so rare to beat them. Because I think they went to the state championship that year, or at least went far. And we had shirts that said, "We beat Layman at Layman" in the score. Oh, shit. Anyway, good memories back in the 80s when you could have fun like that. Yeah. God bless Tiger Woods and his tampon humor. That was funny as shit, and everybody's all offended. Fuck you! As Tucker said, or he quoted somebody, and now I can't remember the quote. I could paraphrase it. I don't know. Humor is the sign of a healthy society, or some shit like that. Our society is not healthy. There is something that will offend someone somewhere somehow. Okay. And people will come up with new things. This is kind of brilliant. I bet this is an ambulance chasing motherfucking lawyer. But anyway, there was a woman convicted of murder, but she was pregnant. And her defense for being let out or, being freed is that her unborn child wasn't guilty of this crime. So he shouldn't be incarcerated. I am like, lawyers are just not a good thing. I think there should be a limit, and only the best and smartest or whatever gets to try for a law license, not everybody who could pass a fucking test. Because, Jesus. Already seeing the exposure lawsuits by Jacoby and Myers. Jacoby and Myers, you owe me some free time for the shout out. Or Elk and Elk. Anyway, there's that old joke out there like, what are 1,000 lawyers at the bottom of the sea? Bottom of the sea? A good start. I told that to a person I know who was a lawyer at one time or what have you, and I don't know whether they didn't think it was funny or it just didn't translate well. My humor doesn't translate well, honey. I'm sorry. Anybody, if language, and that's all, folks. If English isn't your first language, please don't take my humor personally. Don't misinterpret it. So anyway, speaking of Tucker, a couple of interesting events happened in the last few weeks. Project Veritas blew the lid off. 50 million views on that P.F. Iser dude. Okay. And then what happens? All of a sudden, he's a mean guy. And he ate a pregnant woman's sandwich, and he's hard to work with, and James O'Keefe is gone out of Project Veritas. Now, what do you think? Who got paid how much for what? So what happened? I wouldn't doubt if he might not have been the first choice. But to make sure it got out, Tucker Carlson has 55,000 hours of footage from the Capitol that day. Let us see it. And boy, Schiff is losing his shit. They're all losing their shit. Because once you see everything that happened, you're going to go, oh, fuck. Foxtrot. Anyway, there's some people going to be in some trouble. There's all kinds of things. Some people are going to be in trouble. I mean, their corruption knows no limits now, and they're so arrogant, they know they can get away with it. And that should make you sick. Okay? So, you're fixing to see the ultimate transparency on what really happened that day. They're going to need a big ass distraction, and they're setting it up. They want war. Well, it's in the playbook. The industrialists, the military industrial complex, they need a war for money. Shit's been pretty quiet all over the world there for a couple of years, right? Now there's fucking shit going on everywhere. Money, money, money for both sides. They don't lose, ever. They've been playing the same game. Look it up. So they're all freaked out that Tucker Carlson, who they call a right-wing propagandist, he just calls out the truth. And he may be a little sarcastic for some people, but I find that entertaining because maybe I can be that way too. So I appreciate it. Watch him. Keep an eye open on Tucker because he's going to start releasing some shit. So something big's going to need... they need something big to happen. Okay? Anyway. I don't even know what that fucking says. That's funny. Anyway, I'll give you one more little tidbit from the laptop from hell. Now, it's not focused on, mind you, but it was an exchange between Hunter and someone else. I forget what. And from 2014, and they were talking a deal, but they seemed to be worried about a recent diagnosis of early onset dementia in 2014. See the game? Whew. Anyway, what the hell does that say? It was a last minute thing. It's... Christ, I don't know. Well, anyway, this has gone an hour or so. So you see what's going on. Keep your head on a swivel. Watch for food shortages are coming. Be ready. They're going to do everything they can to fuck up this food supply even more. All right? So be safe out there. Follow Monkey Works. Follow Dutch Sense on YouTube. Incredible information that you don't see, on news channels. Okay? So, this here has been the Ramblin' Hillbilly. And I